right, everyone. Welcome back to the Silicon Oasis Spotlight. My name is Josue Romero. I am stoked to have here with me today. Please introduce yourself, name and company.
Hello, I'm Kinjal Chatterjee. I'm a co-founder of Navia.
Let's go. Okay, cool. So love it because you can't see it on the camera right now, but there's about 5 other people behind it, and they're just stoked to be here today, which I absolutely love. That's the energy that we need when building a tech company in Arizona. Everyone, all in. At our team at Inked Greetings, we're a very in-person team, and the synergies are phenomenal. But I'll stop bragging there about team culture in Arizona and tech. What are you building? Let's get right into it. Yeah, a little bit about your background, what you're building.
So let me give you a background. So my other co-founder, Sankritya, I know him since middle school. We met our other co-founder, Mohan, in our first year in Intro to Engineering. And Sankritya met the other 2 co-founders through his job at ASU. And then we all became friends. And then we decided to go to this hackathon. That was the Arizona AI Challenge. That was a week-long hackathon.
Okay.
And the challenge for that hackathon was we were supposed to build an AI tool that would help neurodivergent minds after they graduate college. And that is where Navia was born. So we went on to Reddit, we went to research articles, CDC data. And the number one problem that we found was that task paralysis. So a lot of neurodivergent minds, they find it difficult to start a task or to even complete it. And that was the main goal of building Navia, to help solve this problem.
Gotcha. Okay, and then is that something I guess I'll backtrack with one question. How long ago was that when you all met at that
this
hackathon?
was all the way back in November. And Arizona AI Challenge was a week-long hackathon.
Of 2025?
Oh, 2025, yes.
Oh, I mean, all the way back. Yeah, I guess in startup terms, that's a forever. But 4 months ago is recent-ish.
I mean, because we have had a lot of sleepless nights since then, so
Yep.
it feels like a long time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, it was a week-long hackathon. We were ready with our scrappy MVP within the first 2 days.
Okay.
But then we had like a mentorship session where the organizer of the hackathon, Olivia, she absolutely tore us apart. She was like, have you even done your research? This is not going to work. And we went straight back to the drawing board, and we went and sat in the basement of Hayden Library. So you can say Navia was born out of a basement.
Nice. Yeah.
And then there was Sankritya, my other co-founder. He just got up and he was like, oh guys, I have this crazy idea. And he goes onto the whiteboard and he starts drawing something. And then we're like, yeah, this looks great. So we pivoted our entire strategy. We pivoted our UI UX game.
Yep.
And then after a few days, we were ready with the actual MVP. We pitched it in a live pitch competition. Luckily, we were the top 2 winning teams.
Nice. Congrats.
Yes. That is where we got a $5,000 reward. And we actually immediately qualified for the Global AI competition, which was also hosted by the Spark Center at ASU. And so we thought, what could make us different? So we actually went on to Reddit and we started posting about Navia on multiple neurodivergent subreddits. Mm-hmm. And we got our first 50 users from there.
Okay.
And they were absolutely blowing up our database. Apart from that, so then we pitched at the Global AI Challenge. Yep. And we ended up winning that.
Oh, nice.
And that set us at a total of...
Bro, so casual. I'm a champion twice. Like, yo, let's go.
I am casual because me, my friend, and my other friend, our co-founders, we have won about 7 to 8 hackathons by now. Okay. And we were like, something was eventually...
So it's like light work, right?
Something was eventually going to click, and I'm glad that this is what clicked. And totally now we are sitting at like $20,000 of non-dilutive funding.
Oh, cool.
And that is when we realized that this is not just a hackathon project anymore. Yep. This needs to be something big, and this can really impact a lot of lives. And today we are here in this podcast.
That is awesome, and we're so glad that we're covering it because, again, I've said it over and over. You shared right before we started filming that you'd never been on a podcast before. That is the whole point of Silicon Oasis. Never done a startup. That's great. This is our bread and butter. And now I'm going to ask a ton of questions, if that's all right with you, because as a former VC, always curious to know, right, the workings of a founder as they're building a company. Right. I know you mentioned that right before you met your team back in November and kind of got on this train to build Navia. Mm-hmm. Were you guys suffering from its problem personally, or did you see someone in your family suffering with it? Like, if you were to put Navia in a one-liner, I guess, for the people listening, and then how you got to that solution.
I would say that none of us were suffering from it personally, but we do have friends that we had conversations with who were suffering from it, and that they basically helped us structure our whole app. We would talk to them every day because we would bring out a new iteration pretty much every day because we we would sleep at like 6 or 7 in the morning, and then these guys would go to their on-campus jobs by 8 or 9 a.m. Like barely any 2 to 3 hours of sleep maybe every night. And so we were like constantly talking with our neurodivergent friends, and they were giving us advice that they like this, they don't like this. And after constant changes, we finally got to where we are today.
Okay, and if you were going to give Navia a one-liner for anyone listening, right? So sometimes we're so in the weeds that people not in tech, you need it simplified. Go ahead.
So Navia is your omnipresent AI companion that's going to help you with task breakdown, focus sessions, peer matching, and it's an energy adaptive AI. So whenever you're feeling low, Navia is going to pop up to help you.
Awesome. And you mentioned that one of the judges in your first go-around for the competition that you participated in, the AI challenge, you said they tore the company to bits at the start. What was the biggest feedback that they had given, or what was their reasoning for that?
I would take complete responsibility for that because I was responsible for the research and the pitch deck. And the organizer Olivia said that you don't have your research right. Like you haven't talked to anyone, and which was true. At that point, I was just searching the web and I was just looking at stuff, but I hadn't really talked to anyone. So after she tore us apart, then I actually went and I talked to multiple neurodivergent students, and I also tried to talk to ASU Gates students. So ASU Gate is a program that helps neurodivergent students. So I went and talked to students that were enrolled in that program, and it really made the problem seem real and critical, and it like put a real picture of the problem in my head, and we could really visualize, and then that helped us visualize the solution for the problem.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the reason I was asking, I was like, okay, is this judge, were they an expert in the field that you're building in?
Yeah, I would say they were. an
That's really
expert.
cool.
Yeah.
Then. Helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And then right now, as a first-time founder, as someone who maybe isn't from the person suffering from this problem, and as as a first-time founder, what have you found is your biggest obstacle in building so far?
Biggest obstacle in building has to be some of the technical aspects, as in like the AI memory layer. That's point of view, it's obviously going to be tough. But I have some amazing co-founders, technically brilliant, so they are helping with that. The other aspect is definitely getting users or talking to investors, getting bigger.
Yeah.
That is always going to be an issue. So we are really just looking for guidance in that terms.
Gotcha.
And we are heading to the ASU plus GSV summit in San Diego.
Nice.
So hopefully that's gonna help with that to get to know more people, get Navia out there. That's our biggest concern right now, to get Navia out there to users.
Nice. Yeah, I would say that getting the first users is always going to be a struggle for any company.
Yeah.
As much as most people want to say everything takes off,
Yeah.
it usually doesn't. Everyone's lying in VC and tech startups. They really are. I promise you that. Yeah, everyone lies, so don't worry about that. Something that I actually saw on LinkedIn the other day, it was actually really helpful and true. Shared this with my bosses and work companions yesterday. It was this woman who used to work at a Series B company, and she used to be the CMO there. And in this post, she said, everything I touch turns to gold. So she would run a marketing initiative, and boom, revenue went up, right? And then she would run something else, and then boom, revenue went up. And then she would run something, and then it wouldn't work, and it's like, oh, but that's experimenting with the marketing budget. And then they exited that company. She did well. She joined at that Series B point, and then she started to do her own thing. She ran her own startup as a first-time founder like yourself. And then she admitted in that post, which was very brave, going from 0 to 1 is 1 billion times harder than going from 1 to 100. Absolutely. Yeah, 0 to 1, you do not know what sticks. You hope that the customers, when they find your solution, they even want it at all. And then the right messaging, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes, point well taken on customers and first users being amongst the hardest things to do. Yeah. If we can help in any regard, let us know. But for sure. I would say that that's a common first obstacle. So it sounds like you're on the right track so far as a first-time founder.
Just been doing a lot of cold emailing and cold outreach at this point, and we're getting some feedback. Like you guys reached out, and that was really helpful for us.
Oh, nice.
So like that, we're trying to make progress.
100%. Now, my next question is going to be somewhat with a bit of bite on it. With so many AI companions, what's your biggest defensibility?
I would say our biggest defensibility is going to be data security as
Okay.
well as our AI memory layer. So we have a custom memory engine that has been built by my co-founders, and our AI truly remembers all of your user context throughout multiple usage of our companion through multiple sessions.
Yep.
So let's say we are also coming out with the mobile app at this point,
Okay.
and
So right now it's just a website?
right
or
now
what is it
right
exactly?
now it's just a web app.
Okay.
Right, and we're gonna come out soon with a mobile app that's gonna actually have Edge AI. So my co-founder Sankritya, he's a great Edge AI developer. He has managed to optimize small language models to run directly on the user's phone. So the data doesn't even leave their phone even when they're talking to the AI. It doesn't go to any cloud server or anything. So that's the ultimate data security that you can get.
Yep.
And for the memory layer, whether you use the app on the web or the mobile, or you have multiple Google Calendar, Notion connected to it, your AI knows everything and it never forgets.
Yeah.
That is, I would say, one of our main selling points.
Awesome. I would say, right, as a former VC and just knowing the VC landscape out there, that's probably the biggest question you're going to get, which is what is your defensibility? What stops Google Flow or, Google from running an update?
Our Edge AI and our memory engine are our IPs, and I don't think anyone does it the way we do it.
Right, for sure. But they could build their own. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying be discouraged. I'm saying it's gonna come because that is 100% a question they will ask. But okay, that sounds great. Love the memory layer aspect, security. And where do you see Navia in 5 years?
I would see Navia being an app with, 100,000 users and helping each one of them every day get their tasks done and be more productive in their life, especially the neurodivergent users. They are our main focus.
Do you have any preliminary data on how much people are saving in time because it's keeping them task focused? Or is that something that you don't have full comprehensive data, I guess, shareable data yet?
We do not have completely comprehensible data at this point, but we do have a feedback board where users can write their feedback about using our app, and we have had like more than 20-30 users say that it actually helped them get unstuck, which is their major problem, that they get stuck in between tasks and they don't get it done. So that has been a huge motivator for us, that we are actually helping people get unstuck and do their work.
Okay, nice. No, that's great. I would say I somewhat suffer from that, so I'll look into I'll look into the Navia thing.
Okay.
And what's got you most excited about what you're building with Navia? Like, for example, some builders are motivated by the problem because they're suffering from the problem. I know at Inked, the founder literally built a greeting and gift card kiosk because he hated buying greeting cards for his wife, which is funny, but it works. And now it's, spreading, I like to say spreading like wildfire. To your point, what's been your favorite part about building Navia, and what are you most excited about it for?
Well, we're all really enthusiastic about tech, so that has to be the first motivation. But the main thing is about helping people. And when we get these feedback by talking to users that we have built something that can actually help someone, that has to be the biggest motivator for us. Because we built a lot of hackathon projects, we built a lot of websites, but we have never really gone out there and been like, hey, do you want to use our website? It might help you and all. But this was our first time actually putting ourselves out there, putting Navia out there. And then the bunch of feedback that started coming in that, oh, you helped me so much, thank you guys, blah, blah, blah. And that is the biggest motivator. That keeps us going every single day.
Nice. Love it. And then I know we're probably coming up on time here shortly. What has been your experience building in Arizona? Yay or nay?
Absolutely a great year. We love Arizona. We absolutely love Arizona. We love the Arizona skies. We love the food. We love
sunsets, right?
ooh, the best sunsets in the world, I would say.
Nice. Yeah, I would 100% agree.
Yeah, the drives, the mountains. We love doing road trips, and Arizona is so beautiful. And ASU, number one in innovation, baby. So there are plenty of opportunities here.
Yeah.
Finally, in our master's year, we're exploring it, and hopefully we will reap the benefits. But yeah, we absolutely love Arizona.
And love that you're giving ASU a shout out as well. I would say that I did my undergrad there, very supported by everyone I came into contact with. I did not know the world of tech while I was at ASU, but if it weren't for them, I'm 100% not where I am today, just in a nutshell. So love that we're seeing builders come out of ASU. We want to see more and more and more consistently come out of there. because I've always liked to say that Bay Area, East Coast, they don't work harder than people in Arizona. They have pedigree, right? You know, a lot of them went to Harvard, Princeton, Yale. That's kind of my little go-to of 4 schools that I always mention, but that's largely how the world of tech works out there. And Arizona just completely overlooked. We got a ton of great builders, a lot of hardworking people who will 100% outwork a lot of these investment bankers, private equities that, you know. So the reason I'm kind of crapping on that industry a little bit here, I used to work in finance, by the way, so I can do that. But essentially, I used to work in construction before tech, right? I was studying full-time, working full-time. I had a kid, I had a wife, and I've heard people complain, right, when they sometimes build tech solutions that, oh, they worked so hard a day. It's like, oh, what'd you do? Like, dude, it was a jam sesh. I was sitting down 12 hours. Whoa, like, that's crazy. You were sitting, bro? That sounds tough, man. I hope that, what is that phrase? My lobster's too buttery, my steak is too big. It's like, oh no, what's next? Your headphones were too fluffy during the coding session? And same thing with finance. Like, you were moving images on a slide deck. Like, settle down. Like, there's been harder work out there. So if there is a rallying cry I'd like to send to Arizona is that you can 100% outwork anyone in the Bay Area, East Coast. That's your advantage, right? Build so grittily that people just can't ignore you. And Silicon Oasis is here to make sure you have that spotlight. So I've loved how you've expressed what you're building today.
I would like to add something to that.
Go ahead.
As soon as you put your heads down and you just work on what you want to work on, I'm sure something will work out in the end. Because we have gone to each and every hackathon hoping for something and we got nothing. But finally, the 8th time or the 7th time was the one that clicked. So just keep your heads down, keep working, and something will work out eventually.
Oh my gosh, I love that because we 100% share that sentiment on a different podcast, which is just show up, put your head down, and then show up when you need to.
Exactly.
Things will come. Especially in Arizona, it's a very friendly place, and we're trying to create a give-first community in tech. Well, now, oh my gosh, this has been so great. Thank you so much for you and your whole Navia team being here today. But wrapping up, right? If there was a one-liner you could leave the world with, what would that be?
Work hard, dream big, and hope for the best.
Love it, dude. I feel like I could find that on a 90s cereal box, that phrase. So that's phenomenal. Well, that's it for the Silicon Oasis Spotlight. Where can people find you?
You can find us at LinkedIn at Navia, and you can visit our website at joinnavia.com.
Nice. Well, thanks so much for coming today. Loved your energy, too. You said this is your first time on a podcast.
First
Seemed
time.
like a natural to me.
Thank you.
But honestly, we'll catch everyone next time, and we'll stay in touch. Sorry, no goodbyes, right?
For sure. We'll stay in touch.
We'll keep building. Thanks so much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
All right, everyone. That's it for the Silicon Oasis Spotlight, and we'll catch you next time.